Hello, a quick video, and this one goes out to Atheist.
Oh, nice. And just the one, eh? Well, I guess that must mean me, since I am so very self-important. So what is it we have got today? Although it is clearly a theist sitting in a hole situation, because there you go. Really, why is it that your lot can so rarely frame a goddamn shot? I mean, you're almost always guys, and if you can aim your cocks at a toilet so that you don't blast piss everywhere, like a faulty faucet, then you should be able to... Oh god, you guys are exactly the reason men's bathrooms often have pee bloody everywhere but the actual plumbing, aren't you?
I am a King James Bible believing follower of Jesus Christ. I don't have religion.
You know, I heard a keen James B, and I thought that we were going to have an in-depth chat about the old 007 there. Thanks, brain, for filling in the gaps. So disappoint. But you don't have a religion, eh? Yet you follow the Bible. Religiously, I assume. So, well, don't you just have a personal religion? I mean, fair play. At least you aren't just following some rando's words. Well, okay, you are because the Bible, but you aren't following someone else's interpretation of those words. Oh, well, you are because translation can change a lot. But you know what? This is getting less and less impressive by the minute.
Religious people killed Jesus. Remember that. Religious people killed Jesus. Actually, the Catholics killed Jesus.
That seems unlikely for multiple reasons. One, Jesus probably didn't reel, and definitely not the magic version. And even if he did, while he was almost certainly killed by religious people, that's like saying he was killed by people who breathed f***ing air. Religion was rampant back in the day. But that it was Catholics is just no. Whether by the claims of the church who say it was started by Jesus or his disciples, or by historical gubbins that can't seem to pin down an exact date, but it would have been after Jesus' supposed death. The idea that he was killed by them as an organised religion is basically ludicrous. Not exactly off to a good start, are we, buddy boy?
Catholics, nothing new. It's in the Old Testament. The people wanted a Levite priest to do their idol worship. But we'll get back to that.
Okay, but what has that got to do with atheists? I mean, we don't think most, if not all of the things in the Bible happened, at least for the most of us. Be kind of weird if we did. So it's not exactly an important topic of discussion, unless you're bringing it up and claiming that it's all 100% factorinos when, well, most of us will just stand there and laugh at your sheer gullibility because it's adorable.
About atheists. Now, my issue with atheists, the biggest thing...
Is it my penis? Listen, buddy, it's okay. I know it intimidates you all because yours just aren't nearly as big. But seriously, just pray to God, and if he's real, I'm sure he will add another 3 inches to all of them. Then they'll be like 4 inches long. Won't that be something?
As I don't come across too many of them.
Oh, that's just fantastic. Way to open with. The thing about atheists is, I'm massively f***ing ignorant about them because I've never really spoken to one. I assume that's the case, because if you came at me, I would be out of there like my feet were made out of fast before you tried to talk to me for even a second. Screw that.
When I do, their debate falls flat.
What are the chances that by their debate falls flat, what he really means is either A, he doesn't understand their point or points and thus assumes it doesn't make any sense when it's just him who doesn't make any sense, or B, that he argues so dishonestly that there's simply no way to progress in an argument and they just end up wandering off to go chop off their own fingers or something else more productive than talking to him. Let's find out. Or not, I don't know, I rarely watch this shit in advance, only long enough to know that it's definitely f***ing stupid.
Because for one, they want to debate me about something they have absolutely no knowledge of.
Says you, the guy who's spoken to apparently sod all athi-blabs. And you also think that Catholics were Catholicing about and thought, you know what would be a really good idea? Killing Jesus. That's just not exactly accurate, unless you know something literally everyone else on earth doesn't. Or maybe the one arguing about things they don't understand is you.
You know, I've read through the King James Bible a couple of times. I've been around the world. I've studied in the same schools that they studied in.
Press X to doubt that you have even been to school, but that you have been to the same schools as every atheist is a claim so completely absurd that it beggars belief. And yeah, sure, he probably doesn't mean literally, but he worded that so goddamn poorly, and frankly, even if he has been to a school, and one that someone else he argued with went to, that doesn't fucking mean he learned as much as they did, or, well, anything really.
I had an atheist debate me one time about evolution. I'm like, wait.
Oh, This is going to be good, isn't it? Oh, the arrogant, ignorant theist that's claiming that everyone is stupid but them, only to completely shit the bed whilst baiting all day. Frankly, that's just disgusting. Do it out of the window like the rest of us, for God's sake.
I says, you're telling me the same crap. Remember, I was in the same public school system you were.
Well, that's not the same school then, is it, dipshit? You know that schools vary in quality, right? And don't get me started on religious schools in the US. The ones that like to teach the wrong controversy and almost certainly have a bad habit of completely discounting evolutionary biology because it makes them sad that God doesn't need to exist for humans to be. And again, even if it was a good one that taught the same things, that doesn't mean your dumbass understood it.
But I went on ahead and had 6 more years of school after that. And how is it that I've come to the truth and you're still holding on to the same stuff that you were spoon-fed because you've never thought for yourself?
Of course. Everyone is wrong because you have thought for yourself, which of course means that any ridiculous conclusions you have come to, you have never attempted to correct, and anything you just don't know and have never thought to learn, you just won't know because you thought for yourself. Isn't it weird that proponents of quote-unquote thinking for themselves rarely seem capable of thinking for a fucking hamster, let alone themselves?
About evolution. And I actually did end up winning that atheist to Christ.
Bullshit. Like, what exactly did you say? Atheism isn't true because Bible doesn't have evolution? Also, I apparently don't understand thing 1 about it because I think it's crap. What exactly about it is crap? Because every single time one of you guys has said, it's BS, your argument is always some debunked horseshit based on a total lack of understanding of what evolution is. Also, even if somehow you did debunk Evolvey Boys, that would literally have no impact on I don't buy your claim of God doing a real thing. It's almost like your hardly any atheists is actually 1 who was a dumbass, or more likely exactly 0, because this all sounds made up, mate.
Now, here's some things that I noticed about atheists. They tend to have little to no education.
What? What the hell are you talking about? Again, you said you've met all, and if we assume that you aren't lying about that, what makes you think that your sample size of sweet FA is representative of all atheists? The simple fact is, atheists, or at least the non-religious, which is good enough for this example, are as educated on average as anyone else. In fact, they are literally just above the US total, which I am assuming is like an average, and that makes sense that they would be about average, because atheists are generally of a wide range of upbringing, so they are just as likely to have education-focused family as anyone else. And if I were to be a massive asshole, then I would point out that non-denominational are even, if only slightly, behind them. So, you might not be as smart as you think you are, especially if you're an average kind of boy.
And the thing is that the higher you do get up in education as far as the liberal institutions goes, the more chance you'll find somebody that is an atheist.
Oh, it's always the fucking liberals, isn't it? Liberaling around, atheisting it up whilst correctly teaching evolution. The bastards. How dare they? They should be teaching about how God shit all the things on Earth for no reason. Now that's real science.
Now I'm talking about liberal arts or any kind of arts degrees.
Okay, but what has that got to do with science? Is that the kind of person you're trying to argue science with? Because, well, that's just freaking stupid. Well, that or dishonest. Haha, I will pick people who aren't actually studying the thing I want to argue about. That way I have a 50% chance of knowing about as much as they do about it. Go argue with an evolutionary biologist, you chudding dipshit. I don't give a shit what a liberal arts student has to say about something they're not studying, the same way I wouldn't go to a computer technician to tell me how to make fucking ice cream.
Now, when you get into the STEM degrees, you'll find less atheists, and that's a fact. Get out there and ask around.
Irrelevant. Whether or not many scientists are religious doesn't mean a damn thing. What religions, for a start? A wide variety, probably, because, like with most people, the choice of career you choose to pursue rarely has any impact on what your religious philosophical bent is. But even so, when compared to the general population, scientists are massively more likely to be non-religious. It's almost like you have no idea what you're talking about, isn't it?
It's hard to find a doctor or anybody that's done the eye surgery in this nerve to see how complex it is to sit there and say that they think that just evolved.
Holy fucking shit, what? Do you have any idea how much of medicine is based on evolutionary biology? And look at you displaying your ignorance yet again. Just because some doctors and scientists are religious doesn't mean they don't accept established science. They are f***ing scientists after all. I bet that non-religious chart looks even more skewed against you if you were to change it to scientists and their acceptance of, science. And while yes, some don't, they're usually ones who don't study evolution for some bizarre reason. And even among the ones who don't, they will still be painfully rare.
They're not that stupid. Atheists are, though.
Well, if they are, you're doing a piss-poor job demonstrating it. And frankly, an absolutely excellent job of showing yourself to be one of the most ignorant people I have spoken to this week. And of course, with that kind of sheer lacking of anything even approaching knowledge comes the arrogance to think that you're actually some kind of 10th level super genius who's smarter than everyone in the universe. Weird how that works.
I've noticed that atheists tend to be poor.
Look, I would love to stop banging on about your abysmal sample size, but seriously, are you freaking kidding me? This is shit that you could look up, and again, smack dab in the freaking middle. And look at that, you are apparently poorer than your average atheist. Shocking that the man who knows everything somehow doesn't know anything about the subjects he chooses to speak on, and never bother to do 5 seconds goddamn research either. And like it would fucking matter if they were. What has that got to do with anything? Actually, thinking about it, it's weird that religious people aren't the ones who are poor, like by choice. There's so much shit that Jesus preached about spreading the wealth and getting rid of your possessions and all that jazz. Surely the selfish atheist bastards should all be billionaires.
I notice a lot. They're not from the upper echelons of society, not at all. They don't have a lot of money.
I can think of like 20 extremely wealthy, elite atheists off the top of my head. And you could wake me up in the middle of the night and put a gun to my face while screaming at me and I could still give you maybe 5. And again, I think this is just your shitty sample size and a little something that you probably have never heard of because you weren't listening in all that school you didn't go to. It's called confirmation bias, where you believe a thing, so any evidence that supports it, that you see, and anything that doesn't magically evaporates from your tiny little brain. And again, why does this matter? God is either real or he ain't. Has nothing to do with how much money you have. And frankly, some of the most evil people alive have shit tons of money, so it has no bearing on the goodness of their character or anything like that either. A lot of them run those mega churches. And I know you don't like religion, but how exactly do you square that with your money paradigm? Oh, that's right, you don't, because I don't think you've thought for more than half a femtosecond about a single word you've said.
And usually it kind of stems, their whole anger stems from that.
Oh, they're angry now, are they? Because they're poor. You see, I can understand why the atheists you have met seem very angry, but it's not because they're poor or because they're stupid or whatever shit you want to make up about them. It's because, well, you make up shit about them. And you are absolutely infuriating to boot. When they told you to go yourself, it was 100% based on your bad faith arguments and your inability to reason in any way, shape or form, whilst being insufferably smug about it, I promise you.
I also notice they tend to be smokers, drinkers, drug users, and homosexuals.
Okay, so the cool people. And tend, again, you're making stuff up. Stop making stuff up. Why do you feel the need to make things up? Well, it is likely that non-religious people will be slightly more willing to try things. That's mostly because of the lack of peer groups with strict policing of social activities, rather than it being directly as a result of their belief in God or not. Otherwise, no theist would take drugs, ever. And, well, that's just not how that works. Also, the homosexual thing? So what? Oh, right, you're a homophobe, yeah? Of course you are. No one this smart could be anything else. Also shocking that people who don't derive their morality from ancient books written by total assholes would be more willing to be who they are.
I see a lot of that. So yeah, of course it pays to be atheist when you're trying to cover your sin, see?
No atheist is trying to cover their sin, you self-righteous f***ing cretin. They don't believe in sin because sin doesn't real, you parody of a sapient creature. According to your logic anyway, it pays to be theist when you want to cover your being a massive dipshit moron who lies about people. And, I mean, well...
The whole point of that, they're trying to deny that they're responsible for any of that they have to answer for any of that. So yeah, it kind of behooves them to be an atheist. That's just kind of covered up though.
Every single time. That is literally the stupidest reason to think atheists are atheists. If we believe in sin and the God of the Bible, it would make so little sense to pretend to not believe, because we know that there's multiple possible horrific punishments. And if you're of the, well, there aren't actually any punishments kind of belief, then why do you give a shit, and why would God? But ultimately, no one pretends God doesn't exist so they can live in sin. The same way they don't pretend they don't need to breathe so they can live under the sea, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like when you got a stain, you put a rug over the stain or the bad spot in the floor, it's still under there.
I think the only stain that we can't get rid of is the stain you left on the face of the internet when you decided to share your quote-unquote thoughts, and I use the term very loosely, on atheism. And probably the stain on your chair when you shit your soul out from the sheer unadulterated stupidity.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these atheists, they love watching TV, they love movies, they love entertainment. I notice this a lot.
People like entertainment. Like, okay, so fucking what? You like entertainment. Don't tell me you're not having fun coming up here and being stupid at us. Like, seriously, do you even have a point? Or is this just now rambly nonsense?
And they love Apple products, stuff like that, most liberals.
Okay, rambly nonsense it is. Where do you even get these ideas from, for sake? I personally find Apple, the company at least, to be extremely distasteful, but it has nothing to do with my thoughts about religion and everything to do with their manipulative anti-consumer bullshit.
And I'm like, the people who made all these products and all these entertainment celebrities, I said they put a lot of stock in Satan.
And there it is. Just literally everything is satanic. So atheists who like those things are satanic too. Absolutely brilliant. But I have a quick question for you. How do you know the devil didn't write the Bible? Oh right, I forgot. It's 'cause you're too smart for him. You're just not smart enough to know anything about anything else. You might want to consider that, because I'm pretty sure the devil loves himself a good moron.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope. Wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the